All right. Okay. Live we are. Make sure the volume's cranked. I'm not always sure if that makes a difference or not. All right. And we're live. What's going on, everyone? Here we are. Rock and roll. Got Wi-Fi connection. Think I've got enough light in here. Tequila and bullies. Welcome, my friend. So yeah, let's get rolling. Thursday night in our new slot, live tasting the featured tequila of the week. Post went up today. Go take a look at it. If you are a tequila enthusiast, I don't think this particular tequila needs much introduction, but there we have it. I'll try to get it at an angle where the light isn't blurring it out. Right there. So, featured tequila of the week, one of my all-time favorites. We have El Tesoro, 80th anniversary, Extra Anejo. This particular bottle was limited to just 8 casks, produced 2 years ago to celebrate the 80th anniversary of La Altena Distillery. So it is produced at La Altena, like the rest of the El Tesoro expressions. NOM 1139. And again, limited release. Now, some of you might remember we had the 70th anniversary featured here a couple weeks ago. Right there. Now, that one was a little harder to get hold of because it came out in 2008. This one, 2018, early 2018 release. To celebrate the 80th anniversary of La Altena, produced by master distiller Carlos Camarena, like the rest of El Tesoro. And this one is aged 8 years in ex-bourbon barrels, estate sourced agave. It's produced using the Tahona method, the original traditional method, as with a lot of the other El Tesoro. We've mentioned it many times here on the page. So there we have it. May as well crack it open, get into it, and chat about the tequila a little bit. Kind of unique top over there. I really like that. I might need to be corrected, but I think the wood used for this stopper is the wood out of the barrels. It's French oak. Could be wrong, but either way, beautiful presentation. Really love this bottle. Love the logo on the bottle with wax right there. Around the back, a little history about the distillery and La Altena. Right over there, if you can see past the sticker, which this one definitely gets. Tequila Wanderer recommended. One of my favorites. Obviously, I've spoken about this one a ton on the page. This one up next, so we'll get into it over here. Extra Añejo, like I said, aged 8 years in ex-bourbon barrels. This one's bottle number is number 2086. Like I said, eight barrels were produced, which should get you to about 2,700. Not sure, my math's a little off over there, but I'm not sure exactly how many barrels or how many bottles were produced. This one's number 2086. The first bottle I have up there is number 608. A little fresher out the barrels, but let's get it in here, work around this rope. Oh, there we go. So, still cork stopper with wood and cork stopper, El Tesoro logo, 80th anniversary on there. Beautiful presentation. Oh, hey, Abel, what's going on? Give you guys a look over there. Look at that color. Very dark compared to other El Tesoros. Very dark compared to the 7-year aged El Tesoro 70th. Give you guys another look over there. Beautiful. So on the nose, immediately I'm getting a lot of cooked agave flavor, a little bit of oak, and almost a spicy cooked agave aromas coming off that tequila right there. Good amounts of oak, definitely kind of similar characteristics to a, does it say what bottle number is out of? No, Jeebus, I didn't. I could probably work it out, and if someone who's a little more familiar with it pops up here on my screen, they might be able to help you out. And Chewy Gene, yes, Extra Anejo, it's aged 8 years. El Tesoro 80th anniversary. It was a limited release in 2018. Only 8 barrels were produced, aged in ex-bourbon barrels, and this is bottle number 2086. If you do the math on 8, roughly 400 bottles per barrel, so you can do the math on that. I think it was about 2,700, so there we have it right there. So again, on the nose, lots of cooked agave, spice, little hints of caramel, little bit of oak. It's just a beautiful, very oaky, more oaky than any of the El Tesoros I've had before. Also, I think of the ones I've tried outside of the 75, that's the longest aged El Tesoro that I've had. So understandable, there's going to be a good amount of oak. There's a good amount of cooked agave aroma in that. And then we've got really nice, strong, spicy, peppery taste profile with a very short finish. So it's not overly, there's not a lot of burn, but there's enough spice and earthy flavor in there to kind of balance out the oak, the caramel, the cooked agave, the sweeter side of it. Don't get me wrong, not sweet at all. This is just the epitome of aged tequila in my mind. This is beautiful balance of kind of earthy, spicy, natural flavors on the taste profile, and then the flavors that you would characterize with anything aged in bourbon barrels. A little bit of caramel, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of oak. Absolutely exquisite right there. El Tesoro 80th anniversary. So if you guys are just joining, we are live tasting the featured tequila of the week. We are only on Instagram this week because getting ready to do this, I guess when I got a new computer, a new MacBook this week, everything got put on the cloud and my iPad is now, storage is too full to update. So anyone looking for the YouTube video, unfortunately that will not be up tonight. All that means is that when I have time this weekend, I'm gonna have to get together and taste these beauties next to each other to get it up on YouTube. But Abel, you're getting ahead of the game over there. We will get there. 70th, 80th, 10 years apart, same distillery, same tradition, similar production methods, same master distiller, Mr. Carlos Camarena. There we go. Featured tequila of the week, El Tesoro 80th anniversary. So like I said, estate sourced agave, Tahona crushed in the same way it was, very similar way that tequila was produced in 1937 when the distillery was founded by Carlos's grandfather. Where were we? So the agave is Tahona crushed. It's then cooked in stone and brick ovens. Open air fermentation in wooden fermentation tanks, and then distilled in copper. And then like I mentioned, it is an extra añejo, so it's aged 8 years in ex-bourbon barrels. And for those following along that are maybe a little bit newer to tequila and to agave spirits, an añejo is aged between 12 months and 3 years. And the extra añejo is anything older than 3 years. So at 8 years right there, definitely an extra añejo, definitely older for a lot of extra añejos. Some of the popular ones that people drink on a regular basis, commonly found or easier to find at your local bar. 44 months, 36, 38 months is very common for people to create an extra añejo. 8 years aged right there. This was produced to showcase the quality of the distillery and the tequila that they produce at La Altena. So like I said, it was released last year in a limited release. Only 8 barrels were made. It was only produced for the US market, and celebrated the 80th anniversary of the distillery right there. I'll check it out. Absolutely. Go. If you can get your hands on this, I would recommend it. These were pretty hard to find. I have this bottle and I have another one back there. I got them recently. It was really tough to get my hands on them. Not as tough as getting my hands on the bottles of 70th, but like I said before, this tequila was released 10 years before this one right there. So again, limited release 10 years ago, going to be a lot harder to find. Give it a few more years and these will become rarer and more difficult to get your hands on wherever you may be. The old fraction is very good for extra añejo. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Hey Michelle, what's going on? For those that are following along, Michelle is my highly trusted barber who I do need to come see at some point in the next week or so. And I have some fun stuff to bring you. Priced, when they originally came out, I believe they were priced around $185 was recommended retail in the US. Obviously here I'm in Texas. Things are a little bit cheaper in Texas than they are in a lot of states. You probably can look at 20 bucks more than that in California. 20, 30, 40 more than that in the Northwest or New York City. Just kind of how it goes. Alcohol liquor tax is different in every state, but anywhere between 180 and 250 for that bottle right there. And like I said, this is a rare one. I have one for drinking and one that I want to keep for a little bit longer. Definitely a fun one. Something I enjoy sharing with friends. The 8 years aged in the bourbon barrels definitely gives it a very unique taste profile. Something that is more oaky and more a heavier taste profile than a lot of the El Tesoro stuff. And if you followed along with some of these videos that we do, you will see how a lot of the stuff that comes out of La Altena, they use very fatigued barrels because they want the agave and the production methods to really determine the taste profile of the tequila, as opposed to the tequila becoming more and more like whatever was in the barrel before they aged it. So this one being aged 8 years though, and just from the color you can see there, it's definitely taking more color and more characteristics from the barrel that it's aged in. But an absolute beauty right there. Can't say enough good things about it. Details on the taste profile and the production will go up on the post later today. Oh, hey, Rachel. So I'll get that up later tonight or tomorrow. But this is one of my all-time favorites. One of the best tequilas I have. It definitely makes my top 10 tequilas that I've had all time. I know I'm a little biased. I have a definite liking to a lot of the stuff that comes out of La Altena. El Tesoro, definitely one of my favorites, one of the most consistent brands. Carlos Camarena definitely produces great tequila that I personally like. So there we go. That's this week's featured tequila of the week. El Tesoro 80th anniversary. Absolute beaut. Can't say enough good things about it. We have it right there. For some of the people that have just joined, give you a closer look at the coloring on that tequila right there. Aged 8 years in ex-bourbon barrel, so it's going to take some of the color and sediment from the barrel. On the nose, rich, or bold at least. Rich isn't the right word. Bold agave flavors, cooked agave flavors with spice and oak. And then on the tongue, I'm getting good amounts of oak, really wonderful cooked agave flavors, and then nice earthy and spicy aromas and flavors coming off that tequila right there with little hints of vanilla, little hints of caramel. an absolute wonderful sipper. If you're a high-end whiskey drinker or a Scotch drinker, I think this would be a great place for you to find a top-notch quality, traditionally produced tequila that you can really wrap your head around and maybe really appreciate it for what it is, even if you're not necessarily a tequila drinker. All right, do I like it better than the 70th? So it was inevitable that question was going to come up. I do not. This is still arguably my favorite extra añejo ever. Very different, but this one still takes the cake. Tequila of the week a couple weeks ago, the El Tesoro 70th. Very comparable, obviously produced in almost exactly the same way. Difference being this one aged for 7 years, this one is aged for 8. The agave aromas and earthy and natural profile comes out more in the 70th. On the nose with this one, with the El Tesoro 80th, I get a lot of oak and I get a lot of spice. With the El Tesoro 70th, I get a lot more floral aroma, maybe some orange peel, less spice. It is light pepper on the taste profile, whereas this one is definitely a lot spicier right on the front end of the taste profile. I'm getting a good dose of pepper and spice. So there it is right there. That is exquisite. Just really damn good. Don't know how to pick between the two of them. Like I said, personally, I think the 70th probably just edges it out. The 70th, I feel like the taste profile is maybe a little more complex. Again, more floral, a few more natural flavors and aromas in that. But both of these are absolutely phenomenal. Don't think I could nail it down. I think if you get two agave enthusiasts, we're gonna go either way, one or the other. It's gonna come down to personal preference. These are both absolutely wonderful sipping tequilas, slightly different, each of them. And I'm gonna pour myself some 70th just because I can and because it's wonderful. But there we go. El Tesoro 70th, the quick spark notes version. Less spicy, more floral, slightly more complex taste profile, but wonderful nonetheless. And then this one's going to be bolder, more oak, a little bit more vanilla and caramel, less floral, more spice, more pepper, definitely more pepper on the front end, but both of them wonderful. Both of them limited releases from La Altena, from El Tesoro. Both produced to celebrate anniversaries of the distillery. So this one was released in 2008 to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the distillery. And this one was produced 2018, celebrating the 80th anniversary of this distillery. And as they would have it, these have come out every 5 years. So very excited to see if there is an El Tesoro 85th in the works. And what that would be, which would be about 3.5 years away. Yeah, Duster, it is really hard to get the 70th. Like I said, this one was released over 10 years ago. This one was released a couple years ago. So both being a limited release, being released so long ago, it's really tough to get your hands on. Both of them are great. I'm really lucky that I have a couple bottles of each of these, a few backups. If you happen to roll through Dallas, shoot me a DM and let's chat. I may be willing to part ways with one of my El Tesoro 70th anniversary bottles. So we can probably work out a deal. Or if you have a friend rolling through Dallas, we can probably work something out. But I currently have 4 of those, and I might be willing to share with someone or part ways or trade or make some type of a deal. Marcus, what's going on? Thanks for joining, my friend. So there we go. El Tesoro 70th anniversary, El Tesoro 80th anniversary, 10 years apart, both absolutely exquisite. Can't say enough good things about it. And immediately with that one, I'm getting more orange peel, citrus, floral aroma coming off with that tequila, the 80th. More spice, more oak. Still my favorite. Can't beat it. I love both of these, but the ET 70th just takes it for me. ET 75th did make it. It was even less of a release. I believe there were only 700 bottles of ET 75th at least. And I don't have it. So if anyone does, and they were looking to trade or part ways with the 75th, or Carlos, if you or Fanny are watching this or watch it while it's up for the next 24 hours, send me another message. I need to work out how to get a 75th because I need to complete this trilogy. These are two of my all-time favorites. Both of them make the top 10. It could be argued that the 70th is one of arguably my all-time favorite. So need to get the 75th in this lineup, and then it'll give us a good excuse to do another live video where we can taste all three of them and compare. I like it. If I happen to be in Albuquerque, I will 100% hit you up. Don't get that wrong. So, actually, I might not be that far from Albuquerque at some point at the end of this month. So we might have to chat. But definitely got to try some of that white label El Tesoro and see where that goes. So what do we got? We're about 30 minutes in. Haven't done this yet, but normally I want to see what everyone else is drinking, where everyone else is tuning in from. We've got, I know a few. I've got California, Abel from California. We got people in the house from Albuquerque. Don't know, I think I saw some of my Australian friends joining. But let me know where you're joining from. Let me know what you're drinking. This is, the one time a week. I love interacting with you guys. I love answering questions. If you have more questions, there we go. Houston in the house. I will be in Houston a lot over the next 6 months. So let me know. Yep, the olive oil and Anejo. There we go. Let me know where you're joining from, what you're drinking. If you have any questions, go ahead and fire them. I'll do my best to talk and to follow along and see what everyone's saying. But I really enjoy this hour a week where we get to interact and chat. Sometimes you lose a bit of that interaction and connection through the posts. And as much as you try, I think the posts can start looking like they're just being blasted out to anyone and everyone, which isn't the case. It happens a little bit as the page grows, but the best part of this and the reason I started this, and this is why I love this page in the first place, is the opportunity to interact with everyone, and I do my best. There we go, joining from Melbourne. So let me guess, Thursday, what is it, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday afternoon in Melbourne? Let's see, and I don't have any clocks up in here, I promise. Let's see how good I am. 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. Tizan Blanco, very nice. It is. We drank the 80th together over there, Michelle. I remember that. It was National Tequila Day 2 years ago. So, Corazon Repo in the Buffalo Trace. Friday, 1 p.m. Ah, man, I was off by an hour. Oh, we had a time change like 2 weeks ago. Damn daylight saving time. I heard that Texas has proposed to get rid of daylight saving altogether, the same as Arizona, and I'm 100% for that. So we'll see if that happens. Give you guys a closer look at the bottle again. El Tesoro 80th anniversary. That's this week's featured tequila of the week. One of my all-time favorites. Make my top 10 list for sure. Go look at the post that went up today. Go like the post that went up today, please. Comment on it, like it, share it with your friends. I will put some more details about the production of this beautiful tequila up on that post at some point tonight or tomorrow. But go like the post. I have 7 or 8 much better quality images. You can get a close look at this beautiful bottle. The medallion in wax. We've got the wooden stopper with wooden and cork stopper. Natural rope keeping the stopper in there. Beautiful labeling. Just an exquisite bottle. Little story about the distillery. Seems this was celebrating the 80th anniversary of the distillery. A little bit of history of La Altena on the back. Absolutely beautiful. So go look at my post. Go like it. About the 5th picture over, I have a close-up of this back label, and you can read what it says over there on the post that went up today. You can read a little bit about the history of the distillery. Go like my post, go check it out. For those of you that are new, we're live tasting the featured tequila of the week. It happens every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Central. And this video will be available on Instagram for 24 hours after this. I have been getting them on YouTube. Unfortunately, I have a storage issue on the iPad and YouTube will not let me update it and get these live videos going there. So at some point on the weekend or next week, I will have to sit down and make a YouTube video for these 2 wonderful tequilas. And Chris, that's the one you're drinking right there, isn't it? I had it on deck in case we had enough time or in case we got that far in, but I think I'm not gonna throw too much into this video and give people too much information all at once. So we've already featured that as the featured tequila of the week. It was also the 80th anniversary of La Altena, celebrated with that tequila right there. We'll have to bring that in for another time. I think we have plenty to talk about and plenty of material with those 2 phenomenal tequilas right there. There's a screenshot right there. Got it. So what do we have? I see we got a bunch of people from Texas, everyone joining in from all over the place. It's 1 p.m. on a Friday afternoon in Melbourne, Australia. So every now and then when we do these, I will have a few people pop up from Japan, and it's like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning over there, which is great. So I haven't seen any of the regular people joining from Japan. Boston, all right. And I will be in Boston next week. South of the wall, all right. Duster, like I said, man, if you got someone coming through Dallas, let me know, shoot me a DM. We'll make a deal. We'll work something out. I have an extra bottle of El Tesoro 70th that I might, for the right price, be willing to part ways with, even though, I don't want to talk about my favorite tequila all the time if other people can't experience it and understand what I'm talking about. There's no point. Tequila is made to be shared. So what do we got going on? And I am going to, my little brother, and I doubt he's watching because he's working if it's 1 o'clock on a Friday, but my little brother is running the Boston Marathon on the 15th. So coming in from Sydney with my family from Australia, and I'm flying up there from Dallas and gonna go watch him run a lot faster and further than I can. Go watch him at the Boston Marathon. I'm looking forward to that. So I will be definitely doing some Instagram live from the Boston Marathon next week. There we go. I like it. So very cool. He's looking forward to it. I personally don't know. He's flying in 2 days before the race. So hopefully that's enough time to recover fully from the 16, 20, 22 hours of flying. before the race. But either way, I haven't seen family or that family for over a year. And so looking forward to having everyone in the same place. So yes, Boston on the 15th for the Boston Marathon. I'm looking forward to that. Family in Brisbane, very cool. Brisbane's a fun place. Guys, for those that are joining and that are new, we're live tasting the featured tequila of the week. It's the El Tesoro 80th anniversary. The post that went up today, go take a look at it, hit like, go look over there. I'm gonna put some more details up about the production of this tequila in the post over the next 24 hours. But tradition on this page, originally it was always on a Wednesday, but for the last couple of weeks, at some point between Wednesday and Thursday, I will post the 7 to 10 images of the featured tequila of the week. And you can go see this one right now on the page. It's up there. And then on a Thursday night, 8:30 Central, we will be over here live tasting, talking tequila, talking Boston Marathon, talking pretty much anything. Just interacting over here, taking wild guesses at what the time is in Australia. Duster, salute my friend. Have a good time. Thanks for joining. What course are you playing in Australia? What course are you playing in Melbourne this afternoon? I've played a few of them. It's definitely one of the most underrated golf cities in the world. I think some of the best links golf available right there. So let me see if I can work out how to work this string again. Really beautiful packaging, but it does take a little bit of thinking to get the, there we go, to get that back on there. So give you guys a look. You've got the rope on the bottle over there to secure the wood stopper. We got a little 80th medallion to celebrate the 80th anniversary of La Altena, St. Andrews Beach in Melbourne. I have not played that one. But a couple tequilas are definitely a good way to start the Friday afternoon before your golf. I will definitely be enjoying a couple of tequilas, not only tonight for this tasting, but tomorrow afternoon. Single barrel Casa Noble. I can't remember the last time I had Casa Noble. Honestly, the last time I had single barrel Casa Noble was actually at Cofradia. They were bringing it out and we were tasting samples of Extra Anejo, and they brought it out as a reference point. But to be honest with you, that was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we had been tasting tequila since 8 a.m. So I don't think my opinion on Casa Noble Extra Anejo means much at this point. Probably something I might have to get up on here and do a review of. Really tough to find good tequilas in Boston. Yeah, you know, again, tequila is tough to ship, and every state has their own different laws, so it's not always the easiest to get. Not always the easiest to find a good variety or a good high quality tequilas in every state. I get messages all the time from followers that are in different states, and they keep saying that they can't get a lot of the tequilas that I post. Luckily, here in Tejas, we are nice and close, relatively close to where the tequila is made, and about 40% of our state probably has some type of heritage and origin back to Mexico anyway. So we get a really good selection of tequila over here, which I'm lucky for. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. I love it. Salute. Thank you very much. One Red Diamond. What's going on? Salute. Hello. You know, Marcus, it's very good tequila. It's consistent. I think the thing that's more impressive about the brand that you're drinking right now is maybe not what the individual tequila tastes like, but the fact that how they've been able to, I think the stat that I heard last was that they move something like 43,000 bottles a month or something ridiculous like that. Just the volume of tequila that they produce and share across the world is unbelievably impressive. So Like I said, I have not tried it. I need to get into it when I haven't been drinking tequila since 8 a.m. And get a better perspective on that particular brand. Thanks for joining, Anna. Appreciate it. Best of luck to your brother in the Boston Marathon next week, or pretty much in 10 days. 350 Australian for 70th El Tesoro. Would you agree that's about right? Absolutely. 100% worth it. In fact, I would argue that for 350 Australian, that is a better deal than what you can get it for in America. Because with the conversion rate, I'm going to guess that's about 315 American. And when you consider that a 750 ml Patron Blanco costs 100 Australian dollars, 100%, I would say if I did if I put it next to each other and I mathed it all out and I got way too scientific for you, for 250 American, that's an absolute steal. Done. In fact, I would buy every bottle they have over there, because as Australia learns more and more about tequila and more people get into it in Australia, you should be able to sell that bottle for a lot more if it's been kept well and it hasn't leaked and it hasn't experienced a lot of evaporation. So we're talking about that one. It was produced over 10 years ago as a limited release to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the distillery. This week's featured tequila of the week came out 10 years after that to celebrate the 80th anniversary of La Altena Distillery, NOM 1139. Both produced using traditional methods. Both produced using, by master distiller Carlos Camarena. Sip Tequila, what's up, guys? Is that Hannah or Keith? Don't know who's on the page right now, but thanks for joining. Where are you guys joining from? What are you drinking? Please share. But yeah, to go back, if you can get your hands on this for 250 US in Australia, like I said, Patron Blanco is $100 over there. So at least get yourself one bottle so you can hear what I keep bragging about and going on about. Okay, so that's interesting, right? Abel, salute my friend. Always a pleasure. Thanks for joining. So you were talking about Alto Silver, and you said that it had a chemical taste to it and it's tasted like additive. So that's very interesting, and I'll tell you why. I can't get into it too much because it's a little scientific, and I'm going to get super tequila nerdy on you. But if I want to try to be as simple as possible, is that sometimes the bottling of the tequila, for lack of a better term, you can get bacteria that gets inside the tequila. So if the seal isn't perfect, or there's a little bit of bacteria that gets inside or on the cork or on the stopper, you get that bacteria, those spores that actually develop. And a lot of people mistake poorly stored and poorly sealed tequila for having additives, because the taste that bacteria and that spore produces inside a tequila when it isn't sealed properly, and it's very rare, but it does happen, especially at a bar, the taste that it gives off can be mistaken for a synthetic. So it doesn't matter if it's natural or synthetic. Those spores can get inside a bottle if it's not stored. Oh, if you were asking about this one has a cork stopper. In fact, both of these have a wood and cork stopper, but 10 years apart. I think they did a slightly better job on the 80th. It has a wood stopper in there, and it has a rope around it to keep it in there and keep it sealed tight, which the 70th did not have. So again, I don't want to get too into that. It's a whole nother conversation. Maybe I need to do a video or a YouTube video just specifically on that topic. But tequila that isn't stored properly from the barreling process or at a bar or restaurant can develop the spores and grow that what's the word I'm looking for? Whenever there's moisture and there's bacteria, you can't see it visibly on the cork or on the stopper, but the taste of the tequila will definitely be off, and it can often be mistaken for a chemical additive taste to that tequila. So there we go. My experience with Altos is pretty consistent. Very good tequila for the price point. But yes, thank you, Rachel, my love. Mold is the perfect word that I was looking for. So it's a form of mold. Well, see, this is why I didn't want to get into this, because we're going to get into a super tequila nerd conversation over here, and the people that aren't really big tequila people are going to join in here for 3 seconds and get out and think this is the most boring shit they've ever watched. Oxidation, Michelle, is when the actual tequila inside the bottle reacts with the oxygen. Generally, the alcohol and the ethanol is the first part to evaporate. So if you have over-oxygenation of a tequila, it'll taste a little different. Generally, it'll lose a bit of its kick, and it starts just to taste like agave tea, but it should still taste like agave, and it won't have a chemical taste to it. So oxidation doesn't give a tequila a chemical taste. It actually gives it a soft, watery taste. The mold that I'm talking about inside a bottle that can happen at barreling, it can happen in a barrel, can happen in the bottle if it isn't stored properly, is an actual mold that isn't visible to the eye but can get inside the cork, the stopper, the bottle. And what that'll do is that changes the taste of the tequila altogether. You're going to get a sharp, in fact, it changes the smell of the tequila altogether as well. So I'll give you guys a quick example, and if you're a regular tequila drinker, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and then I'm going to go back to talking about the tequila of the week. But have you ever had a tequila that you drink on a regular basis? So say it is, we've got El Tesoro in front of us, El Tesoro Reposado, something that if I walk into a bar and they have it, it's very reasonably priced, I'll drink it all the time. So El Tesoro Reposado, I go into a bar, I taste it, it's very consistent. El Tesoro makes very consistent tequila, no matter where I'm drinking it or what I'm drinking, it's always very, very consistent. One day I go into a bar, El Tesoro Reposado, yep, that stuff I like, I get it, and I take one sip and something doesn't taste right. So a lot of people's first thought is, are they just putting cheaper tequila, shitter tequila in the bottle to try sell it as top shelf? But often it's not that at all. You don't see it often with El Tesoro. It's just not really produced in a high enough volume. But it could just be the storage. So yeah, it's just mold. The agave water is just the watery taste. That's how it changes the tequila. But I often get people try tequila for the first time, and if they don't have experience with it, they go, oh, it tastes like chemicals. Hey, look, some tequilas, they put additives in it and it's got a chemical taste to it. Casa Dragones tastes like mint mouthwash, but some tequilas, it's not additives, it's not chemicals, but that mold and the spores that develop inside that bottle can give it a very sharp, artificial taste. And I only learned about that from Julio at Tommy's in San Francisco. So when I was in San Francisco last, I had to pop into the famous Tommy's restaurant. And Mexican restaurant. I was lucky enough that owner, Mr. Julio Bermeo, happened to be there, and we had an interesting conversation. And he actually has 2 bottles of Patron Blanco, and he's marked it with a Sharpie, and he uses it to show people exactly what he was talking about. He explained what I just said to you about the spores and the mold that develop inside the bottle. And it was noticeable right to the nose before you even taste it. In fact, I didn't taste the one that had gone off, but you could smell it straight away. It smells artificial and smells like chemicals. Yep, it's not as bad as a lot of the agave purists want to make out. If you are not familiar with what a quality tequila is, it is smooth, sipping spirit with a little bit of a mint finish to it, but the fact that they advertise it as top shelf tequila, and the fact that they sell it for $325 bottle makes it the reason that everyone gets off the Casa Dragones. So it doesn't taste bad. It's not tequila. It's like it's minty vodka with an agave hint to it, filtered down, diffuser made, to be a luxury sipping spirit. So there we go. Yep, pretty much like bad milk. If your milk goes bad and you take a smell of it, you're gonna get a sharp smell to you over there that might seem artificial or chemical-like. That's the same thing over here. But anyway, enough about the science lesson. If you've joined, I promise we're not always getting super technical and scientific about the tequila. We're live tasting the featured tequila of the week. And Michelle, that was a good question, Mr. Detail. There we go. I hope that answered your question well enough. The featured tequila of the week, El Tesoro 80th anniversary. One of my favorite all-time extra añejos. It was produced by master distiller Carlos Camarena at La Altena Distillery. Aged 8 years in ex-bourbon barrels, and it was a limited release to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the distillery. It came out in 2018. Yes, 8-year aged El Tesoro. Previously on this video, one of these live tastings, a few weeks back, we featured the El Tesoro 70th as the featured tequila of the week. That came out in 2008. This one came out 10 years later. Same master distiller, same concept, a limited release to celebrate the distillery. La Altena Distillery was founded in 1937 by Carlos Camarena's grandfather. And if you follow this page for any amount of time, you will know I'm a big fan of the El Tesoro tequilas. Always have been. It was the 70th was one of the first exquisite sipping extra añejos that I'd ever tasted that didn't have an overly bearing vanilla sweet profile, and I instantly fell in love. So there we have it. Featured tequila of the week. Go look at the post that went up today. Please go like it, share it with your friends, tag your friends underneath, tag your tequila loving friends, tag your whiskey loving friends, because I guarantee you if you've got a friend who loves quality, high-end, quality produced scotch or bourbon, if you've got a friend who brags about Pappy Van Winkle, this is their shit right here. I guarantee you any person who appreciates a quality dark spirit will have to appreciate El Tesoro 80th anniversary. If you can get your hands on it, do your best. It should be priced somewhere between 185 and 250 bucks, depending where you are in the country. If you're journeying from Australia, like we saw earlier on, chatting to a couple people, obviously the price range over there is a little higher. But when you consider Patron Blanco is over 100 bucks in Sydney, if you can get one of these for 250 bucks, I would say it's an absolute steal. Go ahead, do it, grab it, do your best. Give you guys a look at the tequila right there. Beautiful, golden, rich color to it. Obviously 8 years in the barrel. It's gonna take some color and sediment and flavor from the whiskey barrels. On the nose, good amounts of oak, cooked agave. I get a lot of spice on the nose immediately, even spicy aromas. And then once tasting it, I'm getting a real front heavy pepper profile, followed by good cooked agave, little hints of vanilla, little hints of caramel, and then a nice short finish. Nice, leaving a little bit of spice and a little tingle in your mouth with just enough cooked agave flavor in there left on the tongue. Absolutely beautiful. One of my favorite sipping tequilas. And got through that one over there. I'll probably leave this little bit of 70th to finish off on. Go back and look at the video. If you're just joining now, these videos will be up on my Instagram storyline for the next 24 hours. So go look at them there. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of a technical issue. These videos, I would like to normally stream them at the same time on YouTube as well, because YouTube allows me to store them and they stay there forever. These disappear in 24 hours. But I guess all that means is that once I get my iPad sorted out, I just need to go ahead and do a tasting again with these two wonderful sipping tequilas. But go back and look at the video. It'll be up for 24 hours. We do a comparison. El Tesoro 70th, which was Tequila of the Week a few weeks ago. El Tesoro 80th is this week's featured Tequila of the Week. Plenty of El Tesoro. Both limited releases to celebrate anniversaries, both by Carlos Camarena, both produced at La Altena. And I said if I had to pick, the 70th just beats out the 80th for me, but they're both great. And I told you before, if you're maybe someone who prefers a whiskey profile, you are going to probably like the 80th more. Yes, they both have stickers, absolutely. Two of my favorites, both make my top 10 ever. Respect the sticker. Brandon, if you're watching, that was your hashtag you started last week. Hashtag respect the sticker. These both definitely get a sticker on them. Tequila Wanderer recommended, love them. I recommend them to all my friends. I tell people if they get a chance to get their hands on this very rare 70th anniversary that has been out for over 10 years now, grab it. I got 4 bottles or 3 new bottles this year because you just can't find them anymore. I have 2 bottles of this as a backup, and these are great. Who's gonna make a run? Won't ship to Texas. Who have we got? Closest bottle is in Nevada. Yep, I already looked at that. It's a Total Wine in Nevada, isn't it? So I went online to see if I could buy this, and you know what? If someone is on here that's in Nevada or in a state that Total Wine will ship to, send JP Steven 47 a DM and see if we can come together as a tequila community to help get this man a bottle of 80th. So they are selling it at Total Wine in Nevada, but unfortunately they cannot ship to Texas. And I tried really hard. I'm not going to say I got the last 2 bottles in Texas, but let's just say that the people that actually worked for El Tesoro took a couple weeks to find me a place that still had these bottles. So it is tough to get to. Lopez Liquors Fine Wines in Carmel by the Sea. Yeah, but the problem is I don't think California nowhere ships to Texas. Other than Old Town. And there we go. Sip Tequila. If Sip Tequila can get their hands on some, they'll ship to Texas. But I don't know what they're going to do. Michelle, you need an 80th. I hear you. Unfortunately, I only have 2. And they're way too damn nice. Viva, what's up, guys? Viva Tequila ATX. Maybe, and this is something kind of fun and new. Michelle, when I come get my haircut next week, I'm going to bring you a sample of this. So this is the newest creation from Felipe Camarena, Carlos's brother, at a different distillery, more famous for producing G4, which has been featured on this page a lot. This is their newest addition, their newest creation. This is Volance, and an absolutely exquisite extra añejo as well. So Michelle, I got a sample of that coming for you. You know, maybe I could find myself a little 50 milliliter sample bottle to put some of this in there for you. I know you've tasted it before, but it never hurts to bring a bit more. So there we go. And like I said earlier, I definitely need a haircut at some point. Yep, I'm keeping this. This is my precious. Not parting ways with this one at all. And it's going to take a lot of convincing to let me to part ways with one of my 4 El Tesoro 70th bottles right there. So there we go. Guys, we're pretty much at an hour. There's no point in waiting for Instagram to count me down to the very last minute. So everyone who joined, thank you so much. If you're just joining, I apologize. We are at the end of our video. We were live tasting this week's featured tequila of the week, the El Tesoro 80th. But the good news for you is that this video will be up on my Instagram page for 24 hours. That's what Instagram allows. I wish there was a way to save this so that I could put it on YouTube full time. But unfortunately, I just need to get my iPad sorted out so I can film it at the same time and put those up on YouTube. So there's probably going to be a video popping up at some point on YouTube soon where we can taste these beautiful expressions from El Tesoro and Carlos Camarena at the same time. But for now, you're going to have to be either tuned in here or jump on my feed for the next 24 hours and go take a look. Thank you. Appreciate the love. Appreciate all of you guys. Got some fun things coming up over the next few weeks, but love the interaction. Comment on the pictures. Go like the post that went up today. Tag your friends. Tag your tequila friends. Tag your whiskey drinking friends. Tag everyone. Share with everyone. Go like the page. Go look through. I've got 8 really beautiful pictures of this week's featured tequila of the week. You can get a much closer look at all the details on this beautiful bottle of wonderful tequila. And then until I see you guys next week, as always, keep wondering, drink Mexican.